What's going on, guys, and welcome to another Doctor Who Classic Review. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Jon Pertwee 3rd Doctor story, Planet of the Daleks. This is Season 10, Episode 4, and it's the second to last episode of Season 10. It's the last season where Jo Grant, Katie Manning is in it, and yeah, so it's the second to last story with her as well. Now this one carries on from Frontier in Space, which was the first episode that I did a review on. So, I did a review on that, and then I thought I should really do a review on Planet of the Daleks pretty soon, because it's one of the rare cases where the story actually kind of follows on from that. Basically, at the end of Frontier in Space, the Doctor is shot by the Master, but it just grazes his head. It kind of collapses for a bit, and then we pick up from there. So, yeah, this is one of the rare cases where stories actually kind of go into each other in the classic series. So I'm gonna read the back of the DVD. This is Planet of the Daleks by Terry Nation. The TARDIS arrives on Spyrodon, an inhospitable planet where the vegetation is hungry and extremely dangerous. The Doctor has been badly hurt and has fallen into a coma, so it's up to his concerned assistant Jo to leave the safety of the TARDIS to find help. She soon discovers a jungle containing invisible creatures, and that the planet is hiding a terrible secret about the Doctor's oldest enemy, the Daleks. So yes, this is Jon Pertwee's second Dalek story. I haven't actually seen either of his other Dalek stories. He had 3 in his whole tenure, but I haven't actually seen those two, Day of the Daleks or Death of the Daleks. I haven't seen those yet, so I can't really compare them to them. Some people consider Planet of the Daleks to be the best Dalek story in the Third Doctor's era. Some people consider it to be the worst, so it's a little bit mishmashy. But yeah, let's first of all get to the cast. So of course we have Jon Pertwee as the Third Doctor. He's very good in this. This is a 6-part story, by the way, just like Frontier in Space, 6 parts long. For the first part, the Third Doctor is pretty absent. He's just kind of in the TARDIS laying down, recovering from his slight coma. But when he does kind of come around at the end of part 1, Jon Pertwee's definitely very good. You know, he's the Third Doctor, and what else have you got to say? Then we've got Katie Manning as Jo Grant. She kind of takes the reins, especially in part 1, and she split up from the Doctor for 3 or 4 parts actually. She split up from him for quite a while. She ends up finding the Thals, and she does very well on her own and with those other cast members. And when she does come back with the Doctor, once again she's very, very good. Not too much screaming and stuff with Katie Manning in this one, so that's good. It's always nice to have Jo Grant not screaming all the time, but yeah, she has a pretty decent role in this story. We then have the other cast members. We've got Prentice Hancock as Weber, who's one of the Thals. He's the Thal that kind of turns on the others a little bit. Not really turns on them, but he kind of has a different way of doing things. The main Thal, which is Taran, played by Bernard Horsfall, he wants to do things a more sneaky, kind of, not so rushed way, but Weber really wants to go in there and destroy the Daleks as quick as he can, ends up getting himself killed. I think both these actors do a really good job of playing their parts, and the conflict between them is really good. Tim Priest as Kodal is the other main Thal. He's also very, very good. Some great moments with Jon Pertwee in this one. And then we have a couple of other Thals, like Rebecca, played by Jane Howe, Marat, played by Hilary Minster, and Latep by Alan Tucker. Once again, they're not in it for quite as long as the others, but they do a pretty good job as well. And we also have Roy Skelton as Wester, who is the Spyrodon who helps out Jo, and later on helps out the Doctor and the Thals. And we have the Dalek voices of Michael Wisher and Roy Skelton again. Once again, very, very good with that. So I'm first of all going to get on to the good things about Planet of the Daleks. First of all, Jo getting infected on her arm was a good addition. Now basically, she steps out of the TARDIS when the Doctor's in a coma going to find help, and in this jungle that they're in, she ends up getting sprayed by these plants. They're pretty cool little things. They kind of just move around and spray at you, and she gets it on her bare skin, on her hand. She gets an infection, and she kind of has this fungus growing on her arm. I think that's pretty cool. She goes into a bit of a coma herself, actually, just kind of keeps waking up now and again, and I think that was a nice little thing to add in there. She does later get healed by Wester, the Spyrodon. He comes up and heals it for her, gets rid of it, so that's pretty cool as well. Some nice kind of green screen work with that as well, because the Spyrodons are invisible. You can still, when Wester is healing her. He's kind of putting these two this liquid in these two like coconuts, like mixing it together, and you can just see them. There's no arms, there's no body, and it's pretty good early work of green screen as well, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, that's all very nice. The Thals were interesting, and the conflict between Weber and Taran was good. Yeah, like I said before, Weber and Taran had this conflict. Taran was the leader, where he was made leader after their captain had died. He was made leader, and he wanted to do things a certain way, but Weber wanted to do things a much more kind of aggressive way. He just wanted to go in there, get the job done, destroy the Daleks, and be done with it. It ends up getting Weber killed, but I loved the tension between Weber and Taran. It was very well acted by the two actors, and yeah, once again, just written well. It's nice to just have those little things in there, you know, just apart from just having the Daleks threat, we can also have a bit of conflict between the kind of main and side cast as well. The Doctor and Kodal escaping the Dalek city, that was pretty cool. Basically, the Doctor and Kodal get captured by the Daleks, and they have to make their way out. I think this was a pretty nice scene. You know, some very good dialogue between the Doctor and Kodal. He has a pretty good speech in there. The Doctor, it's just some really good stuff. You know, they mess around with that little cassette tape thing and then stick it on top of one of the Daleks, which disables it. I think that's a really cool moment. And yeah, just once again, just some very good stuff there. Them moving through the Dalek city is pretty cool as well. You know, trying to get around all the Daleks and stuff. And when they do eventually come back to try and get back into the Dalek city, and they put the kind of coats that the Spyrodons are using to make themselves visible, they put them on, they go in. I think one of them goes into a Dalek. I suppose it's really the first time, or maybe not the first time, but it's one of the early times where we actually see a person go into a Dalek and kind of move around in it, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's all a very good scene too. The air funnel scene was pretty cool. Basically, when they're trying to escape, they all get this like plastic sheet and go up this air funnel thing. Obviously it's not particularly realistic, but this is Doctor Who, so what are you really expecting? But that's a pretty cool scene. You know, some good dialogue with the Doctor and the Thals in there. When it rips just as they get to the top, that's a pretty crazy moment. They just about manage to hang on. The Doctor actually almost falls down the air vent, but managed to get saved by the Thals. So that's a pretty cool scene there. And also the Dalek going up the funnel after them, that was pretty cool. Destroying the Daleks with the ice was very nice, along with the scene where they push two Daleks into the water. Yeah, so earlier on, I think it's just after they escape the city for the first time, the Doctor and all the Thals and Joe, they push two Daleks into the icy water, and that's pretty cool because it just kind of stops them dead in their tracks. That's a pretty cool moment there. It's always nice to see them pushing Daleks around. I really do like that. And then they actually, apparently, they were going to reveal what the inside of the Daleks looked like what the Dalek mutants look like in this episode, but they decided against it, and I believe it wouldn't actually get seen until, I'm not sure, was it Revelation? I'm not sure if it was Revelation or Resurrection or something. One of the later 80s Dalek stories, I'm pretty sure, was when we actually got to see the Dalek mutants, but they were actually going to reveal it in this story, but they kind of shied against it for some reason. So that's an interesting little fact there. And also, yeah, destroying the Daleks at the very end with the ice kind of flooding them all out, that was pretty cool as well. Next up, we got to talk about some bad things. First of all, the Daleks barely using invisibility. Now, it was kind of the cliffhanger for the first part was the Doctor and some of the Thals spraying a invisible Dalek, you know, and finding out it's a Dalek, and they're trying to use this invisibility thing that the Spyrodons are known for. And the problem is, it doesn't really get used upon again. It doesn't get used properly. You know, we see that first Dalek invisible when they spray paint it, and then I don't think it ever gets used again for the Daleks, which is really disappointing. I would have loved to see the Daleks really use that to their advantage, but they don't really do anything with it, and that does kind of annoy me a little bit, that you have such a cool concept like that, invisible Daleks. Make the Daleks even more threatening, make them invisible, but it doesn't really go anywhere, so that's a little bit disappointing. Of course, like a lot of classic Doctor Who, the story is a little bit slow at times. It's a little bit slow to get going. However, it is made better because Katie Manning has a great performance as Jo Grant, moving around and stuff. But it is a little bit slow to get going, I will be honest. And yeah, I mean, I don't know, it's not too bad. the Supreme Dalek's lights don't match with the voice. Now this is something that actually really annoyed me. But the Supreme Dalek, the voice doesn't match up with its lights, and that kind of just, it's not even like it's slightly out. Like the normal Daleks are slightly out, but it doesn't really bother me. It's like, whatever, it doesn't have to be perfect. But the Supreme Dalek is so out of sync. It's absolutely ridiculous, and I really don't like it. It just looks stupid. Also, going on with the Dalek voices sometimes sound weird. Yeah, I don't know what was going on with that. Apparently in Day of the Daleks, the Daleks did sound pretty crap at times. And you know, I think this was better in this one. I've seen some clips from Day of the Dalek, even though I haven't seen the episode, but they do sound, I think, better in this story on the most part. However, now and again, the Daleks do sound a little bit weird. I know at one point, one of the Daleks sounded a bit Indian, and I was like, why have we got an Indian Dalek? That's a bit strange. On the most part, it's not too bad, but it can be a little bit weird at times. And finally, the shots of the 100 Daleks in the cave made it obvious they were models. So yeah, at the end of the story, like I said earlier, a bunch of Daleks get covered in ice, and that's how they're destroyed, and that's a really cool moment. Problem is though, they want to have a bunch of Daleks there. They have hundreds of Daleks. They don't have hundreds of proper Daleks, so they just have like these really tiny little model Daleks, and it's so obvious that they're models. If they could have shot it slightly differently, if, you know, I think it's just the camera work's a bit shoddy with it, the direction's not very good, so it looks really fake. Like, I mean, it keeps going back to the shot. It's not like we only see the shot once. We keep going back to the shot multiple times, 3 or 4 times, and it looks a bit bad. We have some Daleks moving around in the shot at first, and that just looks really bad. Yeah, I think the direction for that one just wasn't particularly great. Anyway, there we go, that's Planet of the Daleks. Like I said, this is the only Jon Pertwee 3rd Doctor Dalek story I've seen thus far, and it was a pretty decent one. I don't know how it compares to Day of the Daleks and Death to the Daleks, but you know, it was an alright story. I'm going to give Planet of the Daleks an 8 out of 10. I think it does a lot of stuff good. You know, also, something I didn't mention, towards the end of the story, they kind of added this thing where the Daleks had this virus that they were going to let out to kill everyone on the planet. I thought that was cool. It was nice to have them, you know, instead of just going around exterminating people, they wanted to kill everyone with a virus, get it all done quickly. And I really like that. However, I think it kind of went wrong, and the virus ended up leaking into the Daleks' base. That was pretty cool, but you know, I like some of the concepts in this episode, but I think along with the misuse of the invisibility and just it being a little bit slow with the Dalek voices and with the kind of shoddy direction in some places, I can only give this an 8 out of 10. But you know, 8 out of 10, I think it's still a pretty enjoyable story. But anyway, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, please go ahead and like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.